Hey guys, this is Dan with Gears and Gadgets. Thanks for tuning in. So I'm coming to you guys with an update here on my 2021 Ford F-150. I made a video 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago now, talking about why I hate this 2021 Ford F-150. It hasn't been a great few months of ownership, but it has gotten better, and it's mostly due to the fact that they just replaced yesterday the APIM, the accessory power interface module. That is basically the main control unit for your entire head unit, which in these trucks, if that's faulty, it controls the majority of what your vehicle's doing. So it doesn't matter how well the vehicle runs, if you can't operate most of the features or you're having reliability issues, having to get in the vehicle and reset every single option every time you jump in is pretty annoying. So I see a lot of people kind of criticize that as it's not a big deal, but just think about every single time you got in your vehicle, if you had to set it up, radio stations, your power seats, power mirrors, everything had to be reset the same you did the day you bought your vehicle. It would probably annoy you a little bit. Now, I saw a ton of comments from people saying, well, it's the first model year, early adopter, you're going to deal with those kinds of problems. And I disagree. The reason I disagree is the issues that I'm having are basic quality control problems, computer modules that they've been putting in vehicles for decades. So the Powerboost that I have is a brand new powertrain, hybrid powertrain on these trucks. That's been great. The early adopter thing is only really acceptable to me in terms of maybe those who bought a Tesla in the first year that Tesla was converting their Roadster, and if the battery died, they had to replace the entire battery pack. Ford has been around for 100 years. GM's been around forever. These legacy automotive manufacturers, and actually Tesla now, shouldn't be having those types of problems because they're an established automotive brand with a huge R&D department, and consumers who are spending well over $60,000 on product should not be basically buying that early adopter penalty as if it's their fault that things are the way they are. I don't find it to be acceptable, and I think it's reasonable to criticize these brands and keep them honest in those situations, and that's what my video was all about the first go around. Now, of course, there are some things that I will never change my mind on as far as basic quality control issues. The rail dust that happened in transportation, which I thought was overspray on the windshield, my dealership thought it was overspray on the windshield also. Apparently that's just something that happens. There was a dent in the tailgate that was painted over. Again, that's, I guess, just something that, not a huge deal, but I thought was kind of a quality control issue. As another viewer actually pointed out, the rail for the rear window falls out of the tracks. Kind of annoying. I've gotten it kind of put back in there, but it falls out every once in a while. I'll probably end up like gluing it in or something. The track is just kind of loose. The one thing I will say, I mentioned, is grabbing the door. Coming up in here, my boss opened the door, we went to lunch, and somehow he grabbed the plastic up here and cut his hand pretty bad. I since took a file to it, and I had a commenter basically say you're closing the door wrong and tried to treat it like this is some sort of McDonald's having to label their coffee hot because some idiots will drink it when it's scalding hot or burn themselves, as if this is a stupidity kind of thing. But this is a touch point, the most common touch point in a vehicle, the door. So if you're going to grab it, yes, you grab the handle, but I close the door or grab the door from this spot up on the top here quite often. Now, if you're getting in, you're going to get in, grab the handle on the inside and close the door to get in. However, there's plenty of times you grab the door, maybe grab something out, and then go to close it and walk away like this, and you're grabbing up on the frame. So that to me is something that should just be cleaned up from the factory. That is a fit and finish problem. I did file it down and since fix it myself. Now let's talk about software. The truck did finally go in yesterday and get the updated APIM module that was faulty. It has now been driven for, I'd say, about maybe 2 hours total since that new APIM module was installed. And I have to say, the truck is completely different. The electronics in this vehicle are so important to the entire experience that when any of them, one in particular, stops working, the most important one being which controls the entire head unit, it basically destroys everything. Now, this F-150 has been awesome to drive. It rides so smooth. I love this thing on the highway. But when you're going down the highway on the way to work, as I did the other day, and the radio turns on and off 3 or 4 different times, it is so distracting And then you also have moments where you get in the vehicle and your seat settings aren't saved, your radio settings aren't saved. That's what I was dealing with my F-150. And I was honestly not too sure if the problems I had were isolated to only the APIM module or if there was something more serious going on with some wiring. I've had some sponsorship opportunities with this F-150 that I actually said hold off on for the time being because I wasn't totally sure if this truck was going to be something I was keeping long term because of the problems I was having. So I'm coming back to you guys today to say it's much better. I still need a little more time to really kind of make sure that it's running the way it should and that updates coming in the future don't brick things again as I think it may have previously. So I have noticed since I got the new APIM module in yesterday that it is running way better than it did before. It already ran great previously, but I've noticed shift points are better. It just seems to me like there's updates that were probably flashed to this thing from the dealership with that new module that have made it that much better. I have no idea now what updates are on this truck. Before it went in, it had Sync 4 software version 20312, revision 243. It now has Sync 4 software version 21146, revision 145. The reason why I don't know what that means is because Ford does not really tell you what those numbers specifically mean. They do release updates that they have as increments, so I have 1.6, 1.4, 1.7.1, 2.1.0, and 2.1.1 that I've sort of aggregated through the forums knowing that they exist. So here's where I'm at currently, and this is where I want to update you guys. It took 2 months for me to get that APIM module for the dealership to order it and have it come in because of chip delays and all that stuff. It's all kind of part of this stuff. To the people who don't think I understand that, of course I do. I no doubt do, but I still think that the manufacturers own the responsibility of their supply chain. I stand by that, always will. So guys, that is my update on my 2021 F-150. You know, it's really tough because I bought this truck for this channel, had a lot of intention. I still have a lot of sponsorship stuff that I would like to do with this truck. And I'm just kind of waiting it out now to see how well the software works, because if this truck ends up being a complete nightmare, I don't know how much I want to put into it, especially if it ends up having to go through lemon law type stuff. I don't know. I don't think it's going to go that far, but I can assure you I have started the logs of keeping records of what's going on here with maintenance, because if there are some deeper electrical gremlins with this truck, I'm not going to spend a ton of money, time, effort, sponsorship, relationships, building up something awesome just to kind of get rid of it quickly. So stay tuned. I'm not sure what's going on with this build series. I want to do something. Not going to throw good money at bad is kind of the way that I look at it, and we'll see how this goes. I think I'm probably going to give it a good 2-3 months to really feel out what goes on with this specific truck, and then also the platform in general, see how other people are responding to updates. So like I said, I wanted to come out and just give you guys an update on my truck, because I said if things got better, I would come back and make that video. That is this video, but I'm still pretty apprehensive about this purchase because of the first 4 to 6 months of ownership. It hasn't been an awesome experience. I've spent more time on the phone with my dealership and service and customer service with Ford. It's a great platform. Truck runs awesome. Best driving truck I've ever owned. But if all of the electronics and the gadgets that are so integral to the experience don't work well, it kind of ruins the entire thing. And that's really the price you pay for all of the gadgetry. And a lot of people will say they don't want the vehicles with that much tech in them for this purpose. I understand, I get it. But a lot of us out here do buy vehicles because of the tech that comes with them. So we just expect it to be there if it's marketed, especially for vehicles that cost this much. So guys, that is a quick update on my truck. I did want to get out here and kind of put something out. So thank you guys very much for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, please hit that subscribe button down below. Remember, likes go a long way to help support the channel. See you guys next time.